chimpanzee troop. So before I launch into teaching you guys some super cool facts about the chimpanzees today, I just have a couple really quick housekeeping notes. So if any of you have any questions at all during the talk, that is amazing. I love nothing more than answering questions. I just ask that you hold on to those questions until the end of the talk today. I'll hang around for about 5 to 10 minutes afterwards, so you can pop on down and ask me any questions you may have. My second little housekeeping note, a very common question that we get asked at the talk is, can you guys feed the chimps? The answer to that is no, you cannot. So there's lots of reasons for that, one of which being that chimpanzees are very susceptible to all different types of illnesses that humans can have. You'll notice I'm wearing gloves today to throw the food over to the chimps. That's just to make sure that I'm not passing on anything that I may have touched that could be harmful. But then the other reason is that some of our animals in the zoo do actually have food allergies. So just like people, they can have allergies. And sometimes the food that you bring to the zoo in your lunchbox can be really harmful to our animals. So we just ask that you don't feed any of the animals at the zoo. Alrighty, so hanging out in the middle of the park at the moment we have Kaiser. So Kaiser is one of our middle-aged female chimps. She currently has a very important role in our troop. So she is one of our breeding females, so meaning that she is of age where she can mate with our alpha male Lex, who's not out at the moment. He is hanging out in the house. But Kaiser's just enjoying a nice break from all the chaos of living in chimpanzee society, hanging out on her little platform there. Kaiser's a really cheeky chimpanzee. She loves nothing more than trying to trick her keepers into giving her foods that are a little bit of a treat. Also loves interacting with enrichment. She is a very curious girl. We have a very wide range of ages in our chimpanzee troop. So our youngest chimpanzee is Akita. He is just turned 3 a couple of weeks ago. And then our oldest chimpanzee is Kara, who is 46, and she is actually Akita's grandma. So we have some very strong family ties in the chimpanzee troop here. While Kaiser is the only one out here, I'm going to throw her over some capsicum. This is what I have for lunch today. At the moment, she is in what we call swelling. So if you get a look at her bottom as she's moving around the habitat, you'll notice that it's looking a little bit swollen. And that's a visual indicator to Lex, our alpha male, that she is currently in season. And if he wants to mate her, now is the time to do so. So she has been spending a lot of time hiding from Lex recently, which fair enough. He doesn't really give the girls a break when they're in spelling. So while she's the only one out here, throw over some food for her to come down and grab if she wants it, so that when Lex eventually does make his way out, she's able to go and find a safe spot to hide from him for a little bit. Lex does hold a very important role in our troop, being the alpha male, so it's his role and responsibility to protect our troop if there were to be any threats into their space. So in the wild, that would be things like other chimpanzees, also other animals in the area that could be bigger or stronger and fight with them. So yeah, quite often we'll see Lex in the zoo. He will bang on heaps of different things around the habitat. He will make a whole lot of noise just to show off his strength to the other chimpanzees and to show them that here he is coming out now. That's the first chimp who's walked out, that is Lex. Showing them that he is the biggest and toughest chimpanzee. I'm just going to turn this microphone off and I'm going to speak really loudly. So Lex, he will show off to all the other chimpanzees, showing them that he is super strong, super tough, and showing them that if he wants to be a threat into the space, he could defend them properly. I mentioned Kara earlier, who's our oldest chimpanzee. She is down the front here. So Kara is 46 years old, and she has quite a personality. So being the alpha's mum, she gets a lot of special perks. So she gets first pick of some of the food. She also gets other special little treatments, such as she gets first pick of the bedding when we put bedding in. She gets first pick of the nests at night. So she has a lot of little privileges being the alpha's mum. And before he took over that alpha position, she didn't quite get as many privileges as she does now. She was actually one of our lower ranking chimpanzees before Lex took over. So down the bottom, that's Akita. He's 3 years old, and Lex is his dad, and his mum is Sally. Oh, she's just coming up onto the rock now. Perfect timing. That is Sally there. Yeah, and then Akita has an older brother in our troop who is Bakari, who's just over here. So Bakari is one of our adolescent males. He's actually next in line for that role of alpha that Lex currently holds. So quite often when Lex is in a bad mood or feels the need to show his streak to the other chimpanzees, Bakari or Kitway, who's our other younger male, will be the target of that aggression that he needs to get out to show to everyone just how big and scary he is. So that does have some little effects on Bakari in particular. So quite often in the talk time when they get their lunch, he will stick to the back. He won't really come forward to get any food. So we always save a little bit in the house, and then later on in the day when he comes over to the mesh, we will give him some food for his mesh. So he always does get his fair share of food. Not to Lex's knowledge, but that is a big part of a way that a alpha animal will make sure that other animals stay in their ranking, is making sure that they don't have access to some of the things that they would ideally like to have. Oh, yeah, good. Oh, there's the other one. Sally is really good at catching when she wants to be. She does quite often leap for food. So capsicum must be it would be nice to have if it lands right in front of me. But I'm not going to put a whole lot of effort into grabbing it type of food. Yeah, there we go. Now she wants it, showing off how good she is at catching there. So another really common question we get asked at the zoo is, do the keepers ever go in with the chimpanzees? So the answer to that is no, we do not. Lex, the alpha male, is about 7 times stronger than your average human man. So if a keeper were to go into the same space as chimpanzees, they are extremely territorial, and it would likely be the end of that zookeeper. So we do have a lot of systems in place to be able to clean the space, as cleaning is a very big part of the zookeeper's job. So we've got the park and we've got the chimpanzee house. If we want to clean the park, we will move all the chimps into the house. We have a whole lot of slides and padlocks that we lock behind the chimps to make sure that everything is nice and secure. And then we notify another staff member in the zoo that we are going to be entering a space. So if we're going into the chimp park, we let them know we're going into the chimp park, that all the chimps are inside and secure, and then they have the responsibility of checking in on us every 15 minutes to make sure that we're all nice and safe. And then once we've done what we need to do, we've done our cleaning, we've put some food out, we've made some fun stuff out in the habitat for them, we will then notify that keeper who took our safety call that we are done in the park. We've locked everything up, and that the chimpanzees are going to have access to that space again. But there are some things that we do need to do with our chimpanzees that require us to be a little bit hands-on. So one thing we do quite regularly is training. So all of our chimpanzees have multiple behaviours that they do training for with their keepers. So those are for husbandry, so it could be things like asking them to show us their teeth, asking to show us their hands or feet, their chest, their ears, just many things that we may need to look at if they would get injuries in fights, because chimpanzees do fight a lot. But we never ever put fingers or anything like that through the mesh. We get them to present it to us, and then we'll just have a really nice close look at those parts to see if there's any injuries there, or if at certain times of the year we need to apply cream to some of the chimpanzees' feet when they get dry, particularly during winter. Yeah. They're very, very interesting animals. But we are now at the end of the chimpanzee talk, so if anyone has any questions, please feel free to pop forward. I'll hang around for the next 5 minutes. And our next talk is down the hill at 1:15 at Carrow HQ. Thank you so much for coming along, and have a great rest of your visit.
Thank you. Thank you.
So they get pretty much any fruit or vegetable that you can imagine, but they also get chicken once a month at the moment. So in